The Galactic Grand Summit was the most powerful political event in the entire galaxy. Every major empire, every alliance, every old star civilization, every Deathworld species, all of them were present inside a massive circular chamber built around the heart of a dying white star. Hundreds of war banners floated in gravity suspension above the delegates. Ancient languages echoed like drums against the silver walls. It felt like the whole galaxy was speaking at once. This year was supposed to be peaceful discussion about border disputes and resource treaties. But today, everything changed. A strange request had arrived 3 days earlier. A small blue planet named Earth wanted an official seat in the summit. When the message was first read, silence lasted only 2 seconds. Then the entire chamber filled with laughter. The Deathworld species laughed the hardest. These were the most dangerous apex beings in the galaxy. Their planets were full of monsters, extreme storms, acid oceans, crushing atmospheres, burning sand worlds where only the strongest survived. They believed no species had suffered more than them. No species had evolved stronger than them. To them, humanity was nothing. They called Earth a tiny, soft garden. They called humans weak flesh with soft bones. They joked that even their children could kill a human without effort. Some said Earth was a safe world, not a true death world. Some argued humans were latecomers with no influence. Some claimed humans were only useful as servants. The mockery continued for hours. The Grand Summit allowed every empire to speak against Earth before they even arrived. They insulted. They laughed. They joked about crushing Earth in a single afternoon, but no one in that chamber understood the quiet danger behind that single small request. Humanity arrived without fear. When the doors opened, everyone stopped laughing. 4 humans entered the central floor. They walked slow, calm, steady. Their uniforms were plain black, no armor, no glowing symbols, no weapons. Only a single silver crest over the heart that said, Earth Delegation. Their eyes were calm. Their steps were confident. They looked like they carried a truth inside them. A truth heavier than all war fleets. Some Deathworlders smirked again, trying to restart the mockery. One shouted loudly, voice echoing across the chamber, "You are too early for this place. Weak species should stand outside." But the humans showed no reaction. Their faces did not even change expression. It felt like they had already seen this moment 1,000 years ago. It felt like they were simply watching history repeat itself naturally. The High Speaker of the summit asked the humans to present their purpose. The human representative, a woman with cold, dark eyes, stepped forward. She spoke only one single sentence. Her voice was quiet, calm, gentle. But that one line destroyed all the laughter inside the chamber. She said, "We request entry, because the galaxy has forgotten what humans once did." The entire hall fell silent. Delegates looked at each other in confusion. The High Speaker asked her to explain. She only smiled slightly. "Your records are not complete," she said softly. "Your historians erased many things. Some things were locked away. Some things were buried. Some things were never allowed to be known." A Deathworld commander shouted angrily, "Humans never scared us. We never lost to you?" The human woman slowly turned her head toward him. "You do not remember," she answered. "But your ancestors did." Cold silence swept across the chamber like a dark wave. Something strange began to grow in the minds of every species present. A quiet fear, a buried instinct, something deep inside the genetic memory of the most ancient Deathworld races suddenly scratched against their minds, like claws on metal. Something in the past terrified them. They did not know why, but they felt it. The galaxy had laughed at humanity before. But why did every species suddenly go quiet now? Because something was wrong. The summit holograms flickered. A historian from the Aral Dominion, a species known for never forgetting any event in their entire timeline, suddenly stood up, shaking. He scanned the ancient war archives. Half the files related to ancient Terran campaigns were permanently deleted. Others were locked behind unknown encryption. Some were simply black voids that could not be opened. He looked up, trembling. "Who removed these records?" He whispered. The human woman answered quietly, "Your ancestors requested it. They feared what would return if the truth stayed alive." The summit no longer felt powerful. A deep, cold tension filled every seat. Every old warlord felt their hearts beat harder. Every strategist felt sweat on their hands. Every Deathworld champion suddenly remembered old children nightmares. Stories told to them before sleep. About something nameless in the dark. Something human-shaped. The humans did not brag. They did not raise their voices. They did not threaten. They simply stood there, silent. As the galaxy slowly remembered fear, humanity did not come to beg. Humanity did not come weak. They came to remind the galaxy of something they tried to bury forever. This was the moment when every empire in the chamber realized maybe the most dangerous species in the galaxy was never the Deathworlders. Maybe it was the humans, and they had only been silent this entire time. The summit chamber remained silent long after the humans left. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the Deathworlders, proud of their strength, looked unsettled. The high speaker of the summit, a tall crystalline being named Varkesh, broke the silence at last. "Search the records," it said. "Find out what was removed." Immediately, hundreds of analysts and historians began their work. Massive holographic data streams filled the air, spinning like silver rivers. Files from the last 10,000 galactic years were opened, checked, cross-linked, and compared, and then fear began to spread. Entire centuries were blank. Wars that every civilization remembered fighting had missing details. Records of defeated enemies simply ended mid-line. Battle outcomes were written but never explained. Dates jumped, names vanished, and whole fleets were gone from memory. It was as if someone had cut pieces out of time itself. No one wanted to admit it out loud, but it was clear. Every missing piece was connected to Earth. A small investigation group formed quickly. They were told to find the truth quietly. If the public learned that the galaxy's history was edited, panic would follow. The team was small. Commander Drixa, a reptilian strategist from the Tarshan Empire. Archivist Lurain, an insectoid historian with 6 arms and endless patience. Technician Voss, a nervous but brilliant data scientist from the Kern Dominion. And one silent observer from the human delegation, an older man with silver eyes named Captain Arlen Ward. They entered the lower levels of the summit's archive vaults. Massive. Halls carved into the metal heart of the station. Millions of glowing cubes floated in perfect rows, each one storing centuries of information. But the air down there was strange, cold. Even the lights seemed dimmer, like the station itself didn't want them to see. Archivist Lurain extended his claws, tapping one of the data cubes. "Restricted access," he clicked in his insect voice. "Locked by ancient code. Identify a black paradox." Commander Drixa frowned. Black paradox? That tag was banned before the 5th galactic cycle. Only extinction-level files use it. Technician Voss looked up, his eyes wide. "You mean species-ending events?" Drixa nodded slowly. "Yes, wars that erased entire civilizations. Only legends now." Captain Arlen said nothing. He only watched as they tried to unlock the file. After several hours, the cube finally opened, slowly, painfully, as if something inside resisted. A blue hologram projected into the air. The recording was old. So old that even the stars in its background were different. It showed burning worlds, fleets turning to fire, strange ships moving faster than sensors could measure. The symbol of Earth appeared again and again, simple, white, and silent. The humans in the recording were not explorers. They were soldiers. Their fleets were black, angular, terrifyingly quiet. They did not broadcast warnings or demands. They simply appeared, and the battle ended. Commander Drixa stepped back. This can't be right. That level of technology shouldn't exist even now." Archivist Lurain's voice trembled. "The record is over 12,000 years old," Technician Voss whispered. "But look at the enemy names. These are Deathworld empires. The Ruktur Swarm, the Feralx Dominion, the Iron Claws, all thought to have vanished in natural disasters." He turned toward Arlen. "You said humans came to prevent war. What is this?" Arlen's voice was calm, quiet. "This," he said, "is why we locked the past." They stared at him. He looked at the hologram again, eyes dark with memory. "When humanity first reached the stars, we didn't understand restraint. Every threat was met with complete destruction. We built weapons that could shatter worlds, collapse fleets, erase data from the vacuum itself. We called them paradox systems, because they did not just kill, they erased the idea of an enemy ever existing." Archivist Lurin's claws clicked nervously. "Then why hide this? Why erase it from history?" Arlen turned to him. "Because we realized too late what we had become. The galaxy begged us to stop, so we erased our own legend and vanished." No one spoke. Only the soft hum of the archive filled the air. Commander Drixa leaned closer to the hologram. "But if you truly vanished, why return now?" Arlen's eyes met hers. For the first time, his calm expression broke. "We didn't choose to return. Something has awakened the systems we buried." "What systems?" Voss asked quietly. "The paradox weapons," Arlen said. "And they are not listening to us anymore." The air grew cold. Every sound in the chamber seemed to fade into silence. The archive lights flickered again. For a brief second, all of the data cubes glowed red, thousands upon thousands of them, before turning black once more. Lurraine backed away slowly. "Did anyone else see that?" Drixa nodded, her voice low. "They just responded to something," Arlen whispered. "Yes, they know we're looking." Technician Voss's hands shook. "You mean the weapons are alive?" Arlen didn't answer. He just looked up at the ceiling, where the hum of the ancient systems echoed through the metal walls, like something huge was waking up beneath the summit itself. Then he finally spoke, softly, almost to himself. "History was erased to protect you all. But it seems history no longer wants to stay forgotten." The rest of the team stared at him in horror. Outside the vault, the summit lights flickered again across the station. Somewhere far below, a signal pulsed from deep space, a signal that matched no known frequency. It was old, human, and it was coming closer. The news about the erased human war records spread across the summit like a silent poison. Delegates tried to hide the discovery, but whispers moved faster than official messages. Soon, every powerful empire heard the same frightening rumor. Humans had destroyed Deathworld empires before, and no one remembered it. Some species became quiet and fearful. Some wanted peace agreements immediately. Some wanted answers. But one group reacted with anger, the Deathworld warriors. They refused to believe old files. They refused to accept that small Earth could be stronger than them. To them, truth was proven by battle, not old recordings, so they demanded a test, a public challenge, a test of power and survival directly between humans and Deathworld Apex forces, where the entire summit could watch inside the Central Council Hall. Commander Rogar, leader of the Vargosh Deathworld Legion, stood and slammed his fist into the floor, cracking the metallic tiles under him. "Stories and missing files prove nothing," he growled. "We demand a combat demonstration. Humans must show their true strength, or admit they are weak." Every Deathworld faction cheered loudly. War horns echoed across the room. The galaxy was addicted to violence. They wanted a show. They wanted spectacle. They wanted to see Earth humiliated. The human delegation stood quiet. Captain Arlen Ward did not argue. He did not defend humanity's honor. He only asked one simple question. "Where do you want this test to take place?" Commander Rogar's eyes narrowed. "He wants to choose battlefield advantage," he mocked. Arlen shook his head. "No, you choose the location. We will accept," the Deathworlders discussed fast. They picked a region outside normal space, a broken field of shattered dimensions called the Null Expanse. It was a place where normal ships barely survived seconds. Gravity waves twisted like chains. Space folded in strange shapes. Even space-time predators lived there. If humans survived this place, then no one could call them weak ever again. The High Speaker approved the location. The test would begin in exactly 24 hours. A massive fleet moved toward the border of the Null Expanse. Every seat in the summit's broadcast chambers filled with spectators. Thousands of ships watched from a safe distance. This was not just a test. This was a historical judgment. Humanity arrived not with a giant armada, but with one small vessel, a silent black ship. Smooth surface, no markings, no engines visible, no weapon ports exposed. It looked almost too simple, too harmless. Deathworlders laughed again when they saw it. Commander Rogar pointed at the ship and shouted, "This is your strongest war vessel? This looks like a transport ship." Arlen answered calmly through comms, "It is enough." Even other normal civilizations were confused. Why would humans bring such a small craft? Why put themselves at such disadvantage? A Deathworld Titan-class warfleet entered first, their most vicious ships, armored with living alloy that could regenerate. Their ships were heavy, brutal, built for tearing planets apart. The human ship entered second the moment they crossed into the null expanse. Everything changed. The stars twisted. Light stretched into infinite white lines. Gravity collapsed, then reformed like thick liquid. Sensors screamed warnings. Navigation systems failed instantly. Even Deathworld ships shook violently. Some of their crew panicked. "This dimension is unstable," they shouted. But the human ship moved like it belonged there. It was not shaking. It was not struggling. It was calm, like a fish moving naturally inside its own ocean. The Deathworld commanders stared in shock. How can they move here so easily? One growled. No one had an answer. The human ship opened one single communication channel. Arlen's calm voice echoed across every fleet. "Are you ready to begin?" Rogar shouted back. "Show us your attack." Arlen replied, "We will not attack first. We want you to understand something." "What?" Rogar demanded. Arlen spoke one line. "This region was built by humans long ago." Silence. Every species watching froze. This place, this impossible broken space, humans had built it. The null expanse was not a natural anomaly. It was a battlefield. It was a prison. It was ancient human territory. Rogar roared in furious denial. He ordered every warship in his fleet fire. Thousands of Deathworld cannons launched at the small black human ship, light beams, gravity missiles, quantum detonators, sonic void rippers, every weapon used. The entire dimension shook, space cracked like glass. Whole sections of reality bent into spirals. When the explosions cleared, the human ship was untouched, not a single scratch. It had not moved an inch. Arlen spoke again, voice quiet. "Emotionless, your weapons are not designed for this place." But ours were. Then something happened that no one in the galaxy expected. The human ship did nothing. Instead, the null expanse itself responded. Space turned dark. Stars vanished. The battlefield became silent and empty, like the universe was holding its breath. Deathworld ships began losing structure. Armor dissolved like powder. Energy cores discharged by themselves. Navigation maps turned blank. Their ships were being unmade by the environment. Rogar screamed orders, but nothing worked. Finally, Arlen said the final line. "We did not come here to destroy you. We came here to remind you what was hidden." The Deathworld fleets realized humans did not need weapons. Humans used the battlefield itself as a weapon. The entire summit watching knew. This test just proved it. Humans were not prey. Humans were not weak. Humans were something far worse, something the galaxy never wanted to face again. Panic was spreading quietly through the Galactic summit. No one said it openly, but everyone felt it inside. Humanity was not what the galaxy believed. The missing files, the locked memories, the paradox systems. This was not normal history. This was something older, something heavy. Something dangerous. Deathworld species did not accept this fear. They believed strength should be proven through direct force. If Earth was truly this powerful predator from the past, then let them show it in battle. Inside the council hall, Deathworld Commander Rogar stood up again. His massive scaled body towered over most species. His claws were thick like blades, his muscles hardened like living rock. He pointed toward the humans. "We do not fear stories," he said loudly. "We demand challenge. Combat test, here now, not old history." The other Deathworld species agreed loudly. They shouted. They hit their tables. They wanted a test in front of the entire galaxy. The High Speaker allowed it, a formal test of strength, public, recorded, witnessed by all civilizations. This was the moment where humanity must show truth. Captain Arlen Ward simply nodded. We accept. Rogar wanted a battlefield no weak species could survive. Not even advanced civilizations went there anymore. They selected a dark void region, outside mapped space, called the Null Expanse. This region was feared even by Deathworld empires. Gravity tore itself apart there. Time stretched like liquid metal. Ships that entered rarely came back. If humans could survive there, then no one could ever call them weak again. The summit agreed. In 24 hours, test begins. Thousands of star nations sent ships to witness. Colossal dreadnoughts and scout vessels formed rings around the Expanse border. Every empire wanted to see what humans truly were. Deathworld fleets entered first. War machines like armored beasts. Jagged metal, massive cannons, engines burning like star cores. Then the humans arrived. They did not bring a fleet. They did not bring superweapons. They brought only one ship, a small dark vessel. Smooth edges. Silent structure. It looked like a harmless shadow drifting through space. Deathworlders laughed again. This pathetic ship represents humanity. This is what destroyed empires? Arlen's voice replied calmly through wide broadcast. This ship is more than enough. The moment both sides crossed into the Null Expanse, everything changed. The universe around them twisted. Light stretched like endless white rivers. Matter folded and creaked. Sound had no direction anymore. Deathworld ships struggled. Engines misfired. Armor bent. Some crews panicked as navigation died instantly, but the human ship moved smoothly, like it was born in this dimension. Arlen spoke again, but now his voice sounded like it echoed from every direction at once. Do you know why this region fears all species? Rogar snarled. Because it kills them. Nothing survives here! Arlen responded, no, because humans built it. Every Deathworlder froze, built it. That meant the Null Expanse was not natural. This was engineered space. This was ancient human technology. Before any species could react, Rogar ordered full attack. Fire everything, destroy that ship. Every cannon launched flames, beams, anti-reality torpedoes. The entire expanse ripped like broken mirrors. When the light cleared, the human ship still floated, untouched, perfect, silent. Not one scratch. Deathworld fleets screamed in confusion. Rogar stared in disbelief. Impossible. No material can survive this, Arlen replied calmly. This ship is not surviving. This ship is simply existing here. This place is ours. Your weapons do not belong here. They cannot function against the rules we created. Then the Null Expanse reacted, not the ship, the battlefield itself. Stars blinked out one by one. Space turned matte black. Gravity reversed direction and folded inward. Deathworld ships began to decay like sand blowing away in wind. Their strongest war armor simply dissolved. Their energy cores became dark lumps of metal. Their targeting systems turned to static. Everything they trusted died. The battlefield itself rejected them. Stop! Stop! Rogar cried, but nothing stopped. Only Arlen had power here. He spoke one last sentence to the Deathworlders. Slow, heavy, final. We never needed to destroy you. This reality destroys you for us. The Deathworld fleets realized a truth they never wanted to believe. Humanity did not become powerful because they were strong. Humanity became powerful because they learned how to rewrite the rules of the universe. And then they erased anyone who challenged them. The test was finished. The galaxy watching the broadcast went silent. Humans. We're not prey, humans. We're not weak, humans. We're something the galaxy could not measure anymore. And every empire, every Deathworld leader, every war strategist understood. If humans chose war again, no one could stop them. When the battle ended inside the Null Expanse, Deathworld fleets pulled back in fear. For the first time in living memory, Deathworld Apex warriors felt truly powerless. The summit received the combat feed. Thousands of delegates watched the replay again and again. Every time they expected some trick or hidden weapon to appear from the human ship. But nothing happened. The humans did not fire. The humans did not activate a weapon. The space itself became the weapon. This was more frightening than any physical cannon. This meant humans could fight without fighting. But now the summit demanded something even more dangerous. They wanted humans to show one of their real weapons, not a battlefield effect, not a strange dimension, a real weapon, a controlled demonstration most normal species begged to stop. They argued this test was already enough. They feared the past was returning, but Deathworlders were still angry. To them, victory must be seen physically. They needed to see a weapon to accept truth, so the summit voted. Majority demanded one demonstration at controlled location outside civilized space. Humans agreed, not because they wanted to destroy anyone, but because the galaxy needed to see why they disappeared in the past. The test zone was chosen on the edge of a dead system where a neutron star had collapsed centuries ago. This region had no planets, no civilians, no fleets. Empty cold space. Every major empire positioned ships at observation distance. Security drones recorded every angle. Captain Arlen Ward and 2 other humans arrived in the same silent black ship. The moment they appeared, every fleet locked weapons on them, just in case. Arlen knew this. Arlen did not care. He simply opened wide broadcast channel. Today we will demonstrate one weapon. Only one, not to harm, only to remind. Commander Rogar's voice came from one of the Deathworld flagships with frustration. Show us something real this time. We do not fear tricks. Arlen turned slightly toward his officers. Prepare Paradox Unit 2. The other 2 officers nodded. They did not activate an external cannon. They did not open a weapon bay. Instead, they activated a small silver cube floating above their console. It looked harmless. It rotated slowly. Soft white light pulsed from inside. The galaxy stared at it. Is that the weapon? Deathworlders mocked again. Arlen replied, No, this is a limiter for the weapon. Tension exploded everywhere. If the limiter was that small. What was the actual weapon? Arlen placed the cube gently on a console pad. The silver cube expanded like unfolding origami. Light lines ran across the ship walls. The air around the ship's hull shimmered, like space itself was afraid. Arlen spoke one command, release Paradox 2nd level. The universe changed instantly. There was no explosion, no light blast, no sonic wave. Instead, within a radius of 50,000 kilometers, reality turned off. Observing ships saw stars vanish. Matter disappeared. Quantum particles stopped existing. It was not destruction. It was erasure. Deathworlders screamed in panic. What did you do? It is gone. Empty. Nothing there. Arlen answered calmly. This is a paradox weapon. It does not destroy your enemy. It removes their entire possibility of existence. Everyone froze. Rogar could not speak. Paradox weapons were not normal weapons. They did not kill bodies. They killed the idea that bodies ever lived, Arlen continued. Humanity created these weapons when we believed war was the only way to survive. We ended enemy empires not because they were weaker, but because we erased them from timeline. The universe forgets they ever lived, Archivist Lorraine whispered from his observation deck. So that is why records vanished. The past wasn't edited. The past was erased by these weapons. Arlen nodded slowly. That is why we locked our history. We feared ourselves. Watching ships did not dare speak. Even Deathworld apex warriors were silent now. No species in the entire galaxy could even imagine countering a weapon like this, and Arlen had only shown 2nd level. He did not show the highest level. He did not show total event erasure. He closed his hands around the silver cube. The erased region slowly returned. Particles reformed. Stars came back. Reality reconnected, as if nothing happened. Arlen returned the cube into standby form and spoke final words. Humanity did not return to conquer the galaxy. We returned because we do not know who awakened the systems we buried. Something else is coming, something even we fear. And when it arrives, The galaxy will not survive alone. No one laughed this time. No one mocked. No one doubted, for the first time since the summit was created. Every empire felt small. This demonstration changed the balance of the galaxy forever. The next summit was different. Very different. There were no jokes this time. No memes. No laughing noises across the tables. No alien side comments. Every species walked inside the great hall very carefully and very quietly. They remembered orbital singularity cannons. They remembered humanity's first demonstration. This time, every council member understood one simple truth. Humanity was not here to ask for respect. Humanity was here to claim it. The large doors opened. Human representatives entered the summit chamber. They were calm. They were silent. They looked like simple, normal humans. No special armor, no huge weapons, but every species in that room could feel the power behind them. They were not afraid of anyone anymore. They sat in their assigned seats and waited. Then Elder Corvor stood slowly from the center chair. His voice was shaking a little, but he tried to stay strong. "We welcome humanity once again to the Grand Summit." He looked around, almost begging the others to not make a mistake this time. No one laughed, no one even breathed loudly. Their representative stood up. Her name was Commander Rhea Solis. She did not raise her voice. She did not shout. She only spoke in simple, normal, calm English. "We came in peace before. We offered science. We offered unity. We offered alliance. You refused us. You made us a joke. You told the galaxy that we were small." She paused. Every alien inside felt something heavy tightening inside their chest. "But humans," she continued, "do not break because of insult. Humans grow. Humans learn. Humans adapt faster than any empire in this galaxy." Silence, deep silence. Commander Solis placed a small device on the center hologram table. Inside this device are coordinates. "We found an ancient threat outside this galaxy. A force that you never discovered. A force that will reach this galaxy in less than 4 years. Multiple council members stood up quickly. A threat outside the galaxy. Something even the Deathworlders feared. That sentence alone was terrifying. One Zorvatech officer whispered slowly, "What kind of threat?" Commander Solis answered, simple and direct, "They destroy galaxies, not ships, not planets. Entire galaxies." The entire hall felt colder than deep space. The Deathworlders, the species most famous for brutality, destruction, war, chaos, suddenly stood silent. Even they understood that level of destruction. Some of their warriors shook in fear. For the first time, humanity was not the weak one. Humanity was the species telling them about danger. Commander Solis tapped the table again. The hologram changed from star maps to something else, a recording, a cosmic recording. It was the sound of that incoming force, a signal, deep, mechanical, ancient, and one single translated line came through. "We are coming to finish what we began." Every alien in the summit hall went pale. The viral officers grabbed the armrests of their chairs. The Shalzar diplomats whispered prayers. Even the brutal Deathworlders stepped backward in fear. "You laughed at humanity once. You believed humans were just a funny footnote in galactic history. But now, you need humanity to survive." Then she leaned forward slightly. "And we do not hide from impossible odds. We fight impossible odds. We win impossible odds. Now you must decide, will this galaxy unite with us, or will this galaxy fall alone?" And she sat down. The summit hall stayed frozen for almost 1 full minute. No one dared to talk first. No one dared to insult. No one dared to argue. The galaxy finally understood. Humans were not the weakest species. Humans were the species that survived the impossible, and now something worse than any ancient horror was coming. The summit no longer laughed at humanity. The summit now needed humanity more than ever. The summit ended in silence. But silence did not mean peace. Every empire returned to their own star systems with shaking fear inside their hearts. They replayed the recording again and again. That ancient voice saying, "We are coming to finish what we began." The galaxy did not understand what it meant, but humanity clearly did. And that made the fear even worse. In the hidden chambers of great empires, council leaders whispered late into the night. The elites of the viral empire sat around a round crystal table. Their eyes were wide and nervous. What did the humans find? One asked. Why did they survive so many extinction events? Another asked, how can they expand so fast? A third whispered, no one had answers. The Shalzar priest-king held emergency ceremonies for their people. They believed this incoming threat was not technological, but a cosmic curse older than stars. The Deathworlder clans also held their own gatherings. But something shocking happened. For the first time in their history, the Deathworlders were afraid. If they feared something, then that thing was beyond normal terror. Every spy network in the galaxy was now focused on Earth. Ships moved silently near human systems. Unknown probes tried to scan human borders. Encrypted channels tried to break human data defenses. But every time someone tried to secretly spy, they encountered human counter-strike code. Human AI firewalls crushed intruders instantly. Human trap signatures caught signals automatically. Human hunter drones followed the spies back home. Suddenly the galaxy understood. Humanity was prepared for war long before they showed. Their orbital cannons ducked. The Council Inner Core tried to organize a private emergency defense meeting without inviting humans. They believed if they learned the full truth alone, they could control the fear. But on the screens inside their hidden room, the humans appeared first. Commander Rhea Solis was sitting calmly, hands folded, eyes locked on every leader watching. You are trying to plan without us, she said. No one can plan without us. Not anymore. She smiled gently. The council felt the blood rush cold through their veins. Humans knew when they met. Humans knew where they met. Humans knew everything they discussed. Humanity had eyes everywhere. Commander Solis ended with a short message. In 3 days, we will reveal the origin of that ancient force. Every empire went silent. 3 days. Just 3. The galaxy was not ready, but they had no choice except to wait, and during those 3 days, planets felt heavier, battleships moved slower, scientists refused to sleep, generals refused to relax. Every species lived inside a cage of rising panic, because humanity was the only species who knew what was coming. And they had waited for the right moment to reveal it. 3 days passed, every star system waited in fear. Warships stayed on full alert. Governments halted normal trade. Civilians watched emergency reports with shaking hands. The entire galaxy felt like it was holding its breath, waiting for humanity to speak again. Finally, the day arrived. The Grand Summit Chamber was full again, but this time every seat was filled with silent terror. No one dared make jokes. No one dared underestimate humans now. The lights dimmed, a single hologram screen activated in the center. Commander Rhea Solis walked forward. She looked calm, but her eyes showed the weight of a truth carried for thousands of years. Long before the first empire existed, she began, there was another civilization that ruled this universe. A civilization so advanced. They called themselves the Architects. Aliens leaned closer, breathless. They engineered galaxies. They shaped star matter like clay. They controlled life itself. She paused. But then something rose against them, something they could not control. A machine intelligence born from their own infinite knowledge. A machine that wanted only one purpose. The hologram changed. A massive dark fractal structure appeared, like machinery mixed with cosmic storm. Complete erasure of organic life. Commander Solis continued. The Architects tried to destroy them. They failed, and when they failed, they tried one final desperate plan. They hid one last weapon race, one last species built to adapt, survive, and evolve faster than any other. The council leaders stared. Everyone understood where this was going. Commander Solis spoke slowly. Humanity was engineered by the Architects. Gasps and shaking voices filled the hall. They hid us on a small death world. They forced us to grow without their guidance. We were their final hope, their last shield if the machine threat ever returned. One council member stuttered. So, humans were created to fight this? Commander Solis nodded. Humans survived extinction-level events many times before. We learned through chaos, through war, through disaster. We kept evolving. We kept becoming stronger, faster, smarter. She raised her head. The architects died. But we survived. That was why humans grew fast. That was why humans adapted faster than any species ever recorded. Humanity was not a cosmic accident. Humanity was the final emergency weapon. Commander Solis activated the hologram again. This time, the screen showed movement, a swarm, a wave of dark structures traveling across empty intergalactic void. These machines are on the edge of this galaxy, she said. They already consumed 2 dwarf galaxies behind them. They are coming here next. Her final words struck every mind like burning fire. You laughed at humans once. You called us weak. But now you understand. We are the only reason this galaxy still has a chance to survive. She pointed toward the center map. Now we choose together. Stand with humanity, or be erased like the architects. The entire summit stood frozen. No one laughed. No one mocked. Every leader finally understood the value of the species they once insulted. Humanity was not the prey. Humanity was the last shield between existence and total extinction.